Welcome back to PokemonKing.com's Team Builder series. Today we're going to take on a new tier, and this is one I'm actually very excited about because I haven't actually played in it at all. This is the RU tier, which stands for Rarely Used, of course, and it contains a lot of really neat Pokemon that I have not gotten a chance to really use since 6th Gen came out. Looking through the list originally, I noticed that there were a lot of bulky Pokemon, and my original playstyle that I'm most comfortable using is use bulky Pokemon and make the safe play. So what we're going to do is make a team using that concept. It's going to be straight bulk, entry hazard, chip damage. We're going to control the course of the battle. Now, if you're familiar with my team builder videos, you are familiar with this spreadsheet that I put together. This is the tab for the RU tier. And what I've done is I've turned off all Pokemon that I wouldn't consider to be super bulky. At least bulk is not their calling card. Maybe they could be played bulky, but bulk is not their calling card. So basically what we have is these 21 Pokemon to choose from. And out of these 21 Pokemon, we're going to make a team of 6 that's going to be very, very difficult for our opponent to crack. I think it's going to play well because the offensive threats, all of the offensive threats in this tier are fairly containable, so to speak. There's a few that are fairly scary that could sweep if they got set up. In the rain, for example, if someone's running a rain team, Kabutops, Amistar could be very threatening. Cincino is pretty threatening if you do not have a solid check on your team, which we will plan to have. And Mega Glalie, of course, is definitely a threat. So there are a few, but far and away, pretty much everything that could be considered offensive is containable using the defensive Pokemon in the tier. So we're going to go that direction. Now, to start, we're going to pick some Pokemon that we are definitely going to have on the team. And for starters, I gotta have Mega Steelix, because for one, it's the only Mega that I would consider bulky in the tier. And number 2 is just straight up badass. So for both of those reasons, we're going to include Mega Steelix on the team. I also need Defog support because it's going to be a lot of long battles, so we're going to turn Golbat on as well. And while we have Golbat on, we'll be able to remove entry hazards from the field. Also, Super Fang might be fairly effective to start whittling away at my opponent's HP. Because we're not going to have a lot of offensive threats. It's going to mostly be chip damage, keep in mind. Additionally, Toxic Spike support is going to be big too, so we're going to have to make sure we turn on the only Pokemon that offers that in the Drapion. So from those 3, we're going to generate the other 3. So we'll have Golbat, Drapion, and Steelix as our 3 Pokemon to definitely include on the team, and the rest are going to get generated by our program using Solver. So quickly I'm going to solve this. And we're going to sort this smallest to largest. And now we do see that it wants us to include Bronzong, Doublade, and Jellicent on the team. I do like Jellicent, so I'm going to keep him, but I'm going to turn Bronzong off because I don't feel much like using him on this team. I also don't like the dual steel, the triple steel typing that we would have between the Doublade, the Bronzong, and the Mega Steelix. So let's run the solver again. And it's still spitting out steel type Pokemon, which is not what we want. So we're actually going to turn off the Doublade and the Registeel, because we only want the one steel in Mega Steelix. Hopefully we'll get a fairy type. If not, we'll have to turn a fairy type on manually. Okay, so it does turn on the regular Steelix, so we have to make sure we turn him off too, because obviously we can't run Steelix and Mega Steelix on the same team. Okay, so it gives us Slurpuff. Gives us Cofagrigus and Slurpuff to go with the Drapion, Golbat, Jellicent, Mega Steelix. I'm going to turn on Aromatisse because I think the Wish support will be very valuable, and Aromatisse is just very, very good at that. And also something that's jumping out is a Dragon type. I would like to have a dragon type on this team. Are there any bulky dragon types? There is Druddigon. So actually, I think I'm going to mostly make this team on my own today. We're going to turn on Druddigon and run the solver again. And we finally have a team. It's going to be Aromatisse, Druddigon, Drapion, Golbat, Jellicent, and Mega Steelix. And I actually really like how that sounds and looks. So we see when we look at our team synergy, we do have a couple of problems. Ice, we're -1 to ice, so Mega Glalie we're going to have to watch out for. However, Mega Steelix provides a pretty decent threat for that, even though we're neutral. And Jellicent could also do a decent job against Mega Glalie as well. Also against ground type, we do have the 2 weaknesses and only the 1 immunity with Golbat. So we'll have to look out for that. But aside from that, it's pretty much in the green from there on out. We got 3 resist against poison, 2 net against fighting, which is big, 3 total resistances against fighting, which is big to have to hold down all of the Hitmonlee, Hitmonchans, and Hitmontops that will be running around in this tier. Also, of course, we have resistances to normal. We're good against grass, fire, water, and really it's a good-looking team. So this is what we want in a defensive team. Few weaknesses, good bulk, and good entry hazards. And as we can see with this team, we're going to be able to set up pretty much every form of entry hazard that we want, except for spikes, which is okay. I think I can live without that. So now we're going to move on to the team building. And we're going to start with the Aromatisse because that's a pretty basic Pokemon. It's basically just a cleric. We are just going to give it the standard. We are on PokemonKing.com to find these move sets, which I'm going to base my team off of. I might make a few changes, but I'll probably just stick with the Smogon suggestions because I do want to start winning some battles consistently. And usually the best way to do that is to just stick with the standard set and make small changes based on what your team needs. So we are going to go Aromatisse by typing that in here. There are a couple different set variations. We can go Relax to run the Trick Room, but I don't think that's going to help. That's just going to be wasting turns. So we are just going to go with the standard defensive set. So that's going to be pretty much non-negotiable between, if I can actually change the species. Thank you. We're going to just go Wish, Protect, of course, because that's just very standard. Moonblast and Aromatherapy to remove status from my team during long battles. We're going to give it the Bold Nature. I know the held item will give it the leftovers, of course, because that chip recovery is going to be huge. Hit points, of course, are going to be maximized, and with the Bold Nature, the defense should be maxed out as well, with the remainder going in special defense. We're going to give it the female, and the Aroma Veil is probably the best option. If I can get a reminder of what that does. Protects allies from the attack. Okay, so actually that doesn't do anything for us. Healer doesn't either. These are both for double battles pretty much, so that's fine. We're not going to get a bonus from the ability, but the typing and the moveset and the stats are really going to be helpful. So moving on to the next Pokemon is going to be our Druddigon, which I believe is going to be, if I can type it into the right spot, our Rocky Helmet user, if I remember correctly, because he's going to have the rough skin, of course, as we're running a defensive variation. We don't want to run the all-out attacker. We want a more defensive variant. These are still adamant, adamant, adamant. Okay, here we go. Careful. This is what we want, I think. Got the Glare, the Dragon Tail, or the Dragon Claw, Stealth Rock, and we can also run the Fire Punch if we want. So we have some options. This one is going to be Careful to up the special defense. Do we want to make it... I guess we'll go specialty defense. I might change this to physically defensive in the end. We'll see. Want it to be a male, of course. Held item is going to be leftover Rocky Helmet, excuse me, because this I think is going to be our lead. I think we're going to try to set up some status and stealth rocks early in a lot of battles. And we will select the Rocky helmet, so that's good. As Moon moves, Glare. Glare, because paralysis is always great to have on a stall team. Toxic and Burn are also nice, but I really like paralysis because our Pokemon are all very slow. And having the ability to outspeed some offensive threats would be a huge help. Of course, the Stealth Rocks, because this is going to be our suicide, quote-unquote, Stealth Rocker. He's going to set up Stealth Rocks, paralyze a bunch of things, maybe use the Dragon Tail, which we're going to put on now. And then we have some options. We've got Fire Punch, we can run Sleep Talk, or we can just do the Dragon Claw. I'm leaning towards Dragon Claw. Let me check out what he can do. Probably not going to do any other non-damaging moves. We do have the Protect, so that's one thing. Maybe the Taunt? I think the Taunt might be useful. Let's put the Taunt on there, and we'll see about switching that later. But for now, we're going to stick with the Taunt. Moving on to the Drapion. And this will definitely be a special wall. This will definitely be a special wall. We're going to run the Careful with the Knockoff. It's going to be a Knockoff. Taunt, Toxic Spikes for that chip damage, and also you can go Poison Jab or Whirlwind. I think we'll go Whirlwind to keep set up sweepers off the battle, and also to keep working that Stealth Rock damage as much as we possibly can. We're going to give him the Black Sludge in case we get tricked. It's better than having leftovers because it will poison the foe. The Careful nature for the special defense. 248 is better than 252 in this case because it's a better Stealth Rock number for Drapion. Then the 216 in the special defense and 44 in speed. And that is the best spread for a defensive Drapion. And of course we're going to have the battle armor on there. Moving on to Golbat as we're halfway done. Change species to Golbat. This will be our Eviolite user. And I think this is going to have good synergy with Steelix because the knockoff will do nothing to Steelix. And we will give the Golbat the Roost, of course. Then what else? The Defog, because this is actually a Pokemon that can learn Defog in X and Y. The Inner Focus or the Infiltrator is the question. Inner Focus could be good against a Fake Out user, but Infiltrator, I think, goes through... Okay, I'll bypass Light Screen, Reflect, Miss. Okay, so it bypasses Substitute, which is big. So we're going to keep the Infiltrator on there. In case something's trying to sub up, we can Super Fang and Brave Bird through it. We are going to have the Brave Bird and the Super Fang. Actually, the Toxic, I think, because that'll sneak behind a Substitute, which is big. Let's give the Toxic and Brave Bird. I like that. And we're going to give it the beneficial nature for defense while cutting special attack, which is Impish. Max out defense. 248 is a better Stealth Rock number than 252 in hit points. And the rest, of course, will go into special defense. And that's a pretty good standard Golbat. Next up, we will be working on a Jellicent, which is a great bulky water type. Really good. Yeah, this team is straight bulk. It's going to be very difficult to break. And that is my best play style. So we're going to give it the Scald. Recover. Will-O-Wisp because we already have the Toxic. And secondary, should we throw the Ice Beam on there or the Shadow Ball or the Taunt? I'm tempted to go for the Taunt because that's always good to have. I know we already have it on Druddigon, but Druddigon is probably not going to last late in the battle most of the time, so this could be good to have for later in battles. So we are just going to give him the Taunt. I might double back and change that once you see me in the battle videos, but for now we're going to stick with that. We are going to throw the Bold Nature on, of course. And interesting spread, specialized specifically for Jellicent. I won't go into deep detail about how it works because I don't know myself exactly, but apparently this is the best EV spread. Actually go with 12, 44. So we actually have a few left over according to Smoke. I'm going to put the extra 2 in special defense. Looks pretty good. Of course, we have to give it a held item, and that's obviously going to be leftovers, just like basically everyone else on our team. And finally, the Mega Steelix, which I've wanted to use for a long time. So we're going to put Steelix on here. Change that species. Going to give him the Sturdy and the Steelix Knight. And I believe it's going to be a rest talking situation. We don't need the Stealth Rock. We do not need the Stealth Rock. The Aromatisse will be able to wake us up. Stealth Rock. Yeah, this is just going to be a straight rest sleep talk set. I'm going to give it a rest, sleep talk, and attacking moves. Heavy Slam. How about Gyro Ball? It's always good. And Earthquake. I like how that looks. And we'll give it the careful nature, or the sassy nature rather, because we want the speed to be very, very, very low. 0 speed IVs to maximize Gyro Ball's power. Max out the special defense, max out the HP, and drop the rest in defense. So there you go. That's our team building video. That's our team. One last recap. We'll do the Mega Steelix, Jellicent, Golbat with the Eviolite, Drapion with the Black Sludge, Druddigon with the Rocky Helmet, and Aromatisse with the leftovers. And I think I like how this looks. A little bit concerned about the lack of spikes damage. Can Drapion learn spikes? Because I might want to go... I don't think he can, but I'm going to double check anyway. He cannot learn spikes. So we're going to stick with the toxic spikes. That's fine. Very low on the attacking moves, very low on the attacking power, but very, very good at controlling what my opponent wants to do. So I'm happy with what we have here. We'll go ahead and do some battles. Check the description below for the for links to the battle videos that we use this team on. Again, go to PokemonKing.com to check out our fully loaded games. They come with 900 Pokemon preloaded onto them. 850 of those Pokemon are battle ready, meaning they are IV bred for max IVs. And EV trained as well. They have beneficial natures and the most competitive ability for the moveset. Lots of egg moves, at least one shiny Pokemon of every fully evolved Pokemon. There's lots there to love. So check out PokemonKing.com today to see what that's all about. Until next time, that is our team building video. So leave a like, hit subscribe. We're always doing giveaways. Check out our giveaway video as well. And we'll see you next time. Have a good day or a good night.